Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, depending on when you are watching this video. My name is Nicole Ayi, and if you are on my channel, welcome to my channel. Please, I'm begging you, like, subscribe, and share this channel for me so that if we get any information, you will be the first person to receive it. Have you noticed that there is a very good similarities between the Ghana elections and the US elections? Have you noticed that? If you have noticed, please leave your comment under the comment section for me. Today we are going to talk about the similarities between the Ghana elections and the US elections. We can see, or it has been on our notice, that there are a very good similarities between the Ghana elections and the US elections. Very, very similar. Everything about our elections, which is these two countries, is very similar. And so there is a press release about this, and I would want us to go through. You may by now be aware that both sitting vice presidents in Ghana and the United States of America are in contest of their lives against former presidents who are seeking to secure their final terms in office. So in this one, we are talking about John Mahama and Donald Trump. And you probably also know that a few hours after President Donald Trump ordered an army of protesters to occupy the U.S. Senate, someone in Ghana by the appropriate size of Jones ordered armed military men into the chamber of president over elections disagreement. Striking, right? This is so striking. The similarities are very, very clear here. So we will dive right into it so that we know more about our similarities. Well, there are more similarities and very more similarities between the US and Ghana's electoral system that would intrigue and shock you. With just a few days before both countries go to the polls, allow me to take you on a journey of striking similarities between these two democracies. So, after independence in 1957, Ghana went through multiple coups d'etats until the early 90s when the country decided to try democracy again. The year for the first election was 1992. Incidentally, it was the year the United States of America was conducting elections too, except that the 1992 elections would have been the umpteenth time for the US. So with the US, they've been on the election like a couple of times before the Ghanaian election times. So the interesting thing about the 1992 election is not just the year it was conducted, but the day and month were the same. Tuesday, November 3rd. You see, although that date was extended by a month in subsequent elections for Ghana, the two countries have been behaving similarly since then, with Ghanaian legislature continually trying without success to make Ghanaians vote in the early November like the US voters do. So you see, with this one, when we began our election, 1992 election, we chose the same date with the US, which is November 3rd. That day, when US voters elected the Democrats into office, their Ghanaian counterpart also elected a party with Democrats in its name into office. as if by design. So you see, this is a striking similarity. The National Democratic Congress, NDC, had just been formed as an amalgam of political parties and groupings to be led by Jerry John Rawlings into the 1992 elections. He became the first president of the Fourth Republic, while his opposite number in the US, Bill Clinton, was elected the 42nd president of the United States. Despite the age difference between the two parties, they would have a lot interesting parallels over the next 3 decades. Both Clinton and Rawlings were re-elected in 1996. You see this one too. It's not just a coincidence, it's very similar, enabling them to complete their constitutionally guaranteed 2 presidential terms limit. The two parties are both centered lefts, championing the social democratic political values. When Clinton and Rawlings finished their terms in the 2000s, their respective parties sponsored the sitting vice president as candidates of that year's election. Interestingly, both Vice President John Evans Atta Mills of the NDC in Ghana and Al Gore of the Democrats in the US were defeated at the polls, ending the 8 years reign of the two Democrats. So you can see that when John Evans Atta Mills was defeated that same year, the US candidate too was also defeated. Another similarities. The two parties that were ushered into office that year can best be described as identical twins, just like the two parties they defeated. The New Patriotic Party, NPP, in Ghana is a center-right and liberal conservative political party, while the Republican Party in the US is seen by many political analysts as holding similar ideologies. But ideologies is not the only thing that makes these two parties identical. The colors of the NPP in Ghana, just like that of the Republicans in the US, are red, white and blue. So you can see there is another similarities here with the NPP and the US candidate too. They have the same colors, the red, the white and the blue. As if that is not enough, both parties have the elephant as symbol. So you can see both parties have elephant as symbol. This means an NPP member in Ghana can easily wear his party paraphernalia at a Republican Party rally in New York without anyone noticing the difference. The US voters re-elected Republican George Walker Bush in November 2004, and the Ghanaian voters did the same for John Agyekum Kufuor a month later in December 2004. When George Bush ended his term after 8 years in office, a powerful windstorm of change blew his elephant party out of the office. His replacement, Barack Obama of the Democrats, was also phenomenal when supported of the Democrats in Ghana were often seen in t-shirts with his photos and that of their candidate, John Evans Atta Mills, at campaign rallies. In fact, if you observe the rallies in 2008, you would be forgiven if you thought Obama was a presidential candidate in Ghana. Indeed, a song composed for Barack Obama by Ghanaian artist Black Rasta was prominent on the playlist of DJs and NDC rallies in that year. It may be well have been the victory song in 2009 after the new narrow win by NDC. So you can see that there are a lot of similarities. Let me read the last one so that we take off. Now let's do a quick recap of the 1992 to 2000 Rawlings Clinton era, because there are two important personalities in that era: the goals of Ghana stroke US elections would need to use on the electoral map after 2010, when Bill Clinton visited Ghana in 1998. He was accompanied by his wife Hillary. They both hosted by Rawlings and his wife Nana Kunedu. The four of them had a very colorful photograph which could pass as a postcard on both countries. More than 10 years after their husband left office, these two women decided to run for president in their respective country, while none of them could become president. So the wives of these two presidents also stood in to fight so that they can also become president in each country. Hillary Clinton managed to go as far as becoming the presidential candidate of the Democrats in elections 2016. A thin Nana Kunedu Ajaman Rawlings were so sadly by John Evans Atamos in the party defeated. In 2016, 8 years after the Democrats swept the power of these two countries, the two elephant parties in the US and Ghana were re-elected. So you can see that there are a lot of similarities between these two parties, and I hope that it continues. So as next month or in November, the US is going into election. Whosoever wins, we are going to assume that if the opposition are going to win, then in Ghana, opposition is going to win. But if opposition is not going to win, we are assuming that since we have similarities, then the oppositions are not going to win. So what do you think? Leave your comments under the comment sections and I will be back to read them. My name is Nicole Ayi. Bye bye for now.